Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, did not simply die. She meticulously choreographed her own exit from the world, transforming a Roman triumph into her final defiant act of sovereignty. On August 12, 30 BC, in the sweltering heat of Alexandria, the air within her sequestered tomb was thick with a heavy floral perfume. A scent meant not just for her last earthly comfort, but perhaps to mask something far more sinister. Octavian, fresh from his victory at Actium, had secured her, determined to parade her through the streets of Rome in chains, a living trophy of Egypt's subjugation. He had already broken her once, denying her burial with Antony, but her spirit, though battered, was not yet broken. He believed her contained, watched by his guards, unaware of the subtle package of figs that had slipped through his tight security, carrying with it a silent, potent instrument of oblivion. Imagine her in that sun-drenched yet shadowed chamber. The weight of an empire's collapse rested on her slender shoulders. The whispers of Roman soldiers outside, the clang of their armor, were a constant, brutal reminder of her captivity. Her life had been a whirlwind of power, passion, and political maneuvering, and now the ultimate indignity awaited her. A spectacle for the Roman mob, a symbol of everything Octavian had conquered. She saw her fate not as surrender, but as a final strategic move. She would deny him that spectacle. She would choose her own stage, her own ending. Her two most loyal handmaidens, Iris and Charmian, moved silently around her. They knew. There was no need for words, only the shared understanding of a queen's last desperate command. Cleopatra dressed herself not in mourning, but in her finest regalia, as if preparing for a grand feast or a sacred ceremony. Jewels shimmered, gold gleamed, and the rich purple of royalty enveloped her. It was a queen's final audience, with death as her only guest. What act of defiance, however small, do you think is truly remembered throughout history? Share your thoughts below. She reclined on her couch, not in defeat, but in majestic repose, a picture of serene command amidst the suffocating reality of her defeat. The basket of figs was brought forth, and from beneath the sweet fruit, a creature of the desert was coaxed out, an asp, likely an Egyptian cobra, whose bite brought swift, silent, agonizing death. The moment of truth arrived. Accounts vary. Some say she applied the serpent directly to her breast, others to her arm. The initial sting, the burning sensation spreading through her veins, would have been a stark, brutal contrast to the royal silks she wore. Her breath would have quickened, her vision blurred, but her resolve would have held. Iris, it said, collapsed first, perhaps from the poison, perhaps from a broken heart, leaving Charmian to adjust Cleopatra's crown before she too succumbed. The Roman guards, hearing no sound, grew suspicious. They burst into the tomb to find a scene of tragic, regal stillness. Cleopatra, draped in splendor, already departed. Her face, even in death, carried a faint, almost imperious smile, a final message of defiance to her conqueror. Octavian arrived moments later, furious at being denied his ultimate prize, yet he could only marvel at the audacity of a queen who chose death over degradation. The silence surrounding a final, unyielding decision can be deafening. If stories of such profound courage and ultimate choices intrigue you, consider subscribing. Every week, we peel back the curtain on how legendary figures met their end. Cleopatra's death marked the definitive end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek line of pharaohs that had ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries. Her suicide wasn't just the end of a life, it was the closing chapter of an entire civilization's independence, folding Egypt into the vast, expanding dominion of the Roman Empire. Cleopatra's final breath closed not just a life, but an entire epoch. What other historical figures do you believe made their most lasting mark in their very last moments? Let us know in the comments.